Lena's alarm beeped softly, pulling her out of sleep. The morning sunlight streamed through the window, painting the walls of her small apartment in warm gold. She stretched lazily, expecting the calm start of another usual day. But then she saw him. A man, sitting on the edge of her bed, calm, smiling, not startled at all, just sitting there. Lena froze, her eyes wide. Why? Why are you in my bed? Who are you? She asked, her voice trembling. Part anger and part fear. The man tilted his head slightly, as if studying her. Then, in a voice that was gentle but firm, he said, I'm your soon-to-be husband. Lena blinked. Once. Twice. Her brain tried to catch up. This was not a dream. The sunlight was real. Her sheets were real. The hum of the air purifier was real. But this stranger claiming he was her future husband, that was not real. Excuse me? She said, sitting up, pulling the covers close around her. I don't know you. And I certainly don't plan to marry you. The man chuckled softly. It wasn't a mean laugh. It was warm, calm, almost reassuring. I know this is confusing. I understand it seems impossible. But I promise, I am not here to harm you. I need your help. Lena frowned, her fear giving way to irritation. Help? From me? You just broke into my apartment. How can I possibly— I didn't break in, he interrupted gently. I am from the future. I came here because your choices today are more important than you realize. Lena's eyebrows shot up. The future? She asked, skeptical. Are you serious? I am serious, he said, standing up carefully so as not to disturb the room. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. It was about the size of a smartphone, but it glowed faintly with shifting colors. This device shows me probabilities. It shows how small actions can ripple through time. And right now, I need your intuition. Machines alone cannot solve this. Only a human mind, your mind can. Lena stared at him. A million questions swirled in her head. Why her? How could this be real? And why? Why did he sound so calm, so sure, as if the impossible was the most natural thing in the world? I don't understand, she whispered. Why me? He smiled softly. Because humans are extraordinary. Machines and algorithms are clever. Yes, but humans are creative in ways no computer can replicate. Your choices, your instincts, your ability to imagine possibilities. These are the things that shape the future. I am here because you have something only you can do. Lena looked down at her hands, unsure whether to trust him. She was an ordinary woman, living an ordinary life. She worked in a small library, read books, drank coffee, and occasionally complained about the city noise. Nothing about her screamed, future saver. And yet, something in his eyes told her he wasn't lying. Okay, she said cautiously. Let's pretend I believe you for a moment. Why are you in my bed? The man's smile widened. Because this is where our paths converge. This is where the event begins. I needed to be here when it started. I know it sounds strange, but it is true. And I thought it would be better to meet you face to face, rather than through messages or holograms. Lena tilted her head, confused. You mean, my bed is important? Yes, he said simply. And don't worry, nothing dangerous will happen. I just need you to be aware and participate. She swallowed hard. Her apartment felt smaller all of a sudden. She thought of calling someone, calling the police maybe. But she realized, how could she explain this? A man claiming to be from the future, sitting in her bed, saying she would save humanity in some tiny but important way? Anyone would think she was insane. Instead, she stayed quiet. Fine, she said finally. Say I believe you. What exactly do you want me to do? He held out the small, glowing device. Watch this. It shows possibilities. Imagine it as a map of what could happen. Your choices today are like roads. One small decision could lead to a future where humans thrive, or where they struggle unnecessarily. I need you to help me choose the right path. Lena took the device hesitantly. The colors shifted and swirled in patterns she couldn't understand. But strangely, she could feel something in it, like it was alive. She didn't understand how, but it felt connected to her decisions. This is a lot, she murmured. I know, he said. That's why I'm here. Humans are brave. Humans are clever. Humans are adaptable. And that is why I came to you. I need your mind, your heart, your instincts. Machines are useful, but the human touch, that is irreplaceable. Lena stared at him. There was something different about this man. Something almost unreal, but not frightening. Calm, reassuring, maybe even kind. And in a strange, quiet way, she felt a spark of curiosity. All right, she said slowly. Let's see what this device does. He smiled. Thank you. That is the first step. For the next hour, Kale, this stranger claiming to be from the future, explained what he could about the coming event. He didn't give her the exact future. That, he said, would remove her ability to choose. But he showed her how small actions, small decisions, could ripple through time. He demonstrated with the glowing device, showing her simulations, probabilities, and scenarios. As Lena watched, she began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Excitement. Fear. Yes, but excitement too. She was ordinary, but here she was, looking at a man from the future, handling a device that could shape time, and realizing that perhaps ordinary people could do extraordinary things. Hours passed quickly. They moved through her apartment, experimenting with small choices. Which book to pick first? Which order to drink their morning coffee? Which color of scarf to wear? Each decision seemed insignificant. But Kale explained that the patterns these choices created were like threads in a web. Tug one thread the right way, and the future thrived. Pull it wrong, and, well, nothing terrible, but opportunities could be lost. At one point, Lena laughed, a genuine laugh, and Kale looked at her as if he had never seen a human laugh before. Your laughter, he said softly. It's remarkable. Humans are wonderful. Even in small, ordinary moments, you create joy and beauty that no machine can replicate. Lena smiled, shaking her head. Kale nodded. You are, and you are already helping. By listening, by thinking, by being yourself, you are shaping the future. Sometimes, the smallest actions matter most. By the time the sun was high in the sky, Lena felt a strange connection to this man. He had not forced her, not threatened her, not demanded anything. He had simply explained, shown, and trusted her. And in that trust, she felt her own power as a human being, ordinary, yet capable of extraordinary things. Finally, Kale looked at her and said quietly, Tomorrow, we begin the real work. But today, you've taken the first step. You've seen that humans, even alone, can change the world in ways no one expects. You've seen that. You are special. Lena blinked, unsure whether to feel proud or terrified. She was still unsure if she could believe him. But deep down, she knew one thing. Her life had just changed, forever. And somewhere, far in the future, Kale smiled, knowing that this ordinary woman was already doing something extraordinary. The morning sun poured into Lena's apartment, but today, it felt different. The light seemed brighter, warmer, as if the universe itself was aware of what was about to happen. Lena rubbed her eyes. trying to shake off the lingering disbelief from yesterday. A stranger had appeared in her bed, claiming to be her future husband, asking for her help to shape the future. And, somehow, she had agreed to help him. She was still unsure whether she believed him completely. But when Kale, the man from the future, appeared in her living room, device in hand, she felt a strange mixture of fear and excitement. He smiled at her, calm and patient, as though he had seen this day many times before. "Good morning," Kale said softly. "I hope you slept well." "I slept, strangely," Lena admitted, dreaming about things that didn't make sense. "Do you do that thing? You know, make me dream?" Kale shook his head. "No. Dreams are entirely yours. But sometimes, when time is touched even lightly, it can stir unusual thoughts. Dreams can be like whispers from what is possible." Lena frowned. "Possible? You mean the future?" "Yes," Kale said. "And that is why we must start today. Yesterday, you saw how small actions can ripple forward. Today, we begin guiding those actions deliberately." Lena took a deep breath. She had agreed yesterday, but now the weight of responsibility felt heavier. She was just one person, ordinary, not heroic. How could she influence the future? And yet, Kale's presence had a way of making the impossible feel real. "Okay," she said finally. "Where do we start?" Kale held out the glowing device. "This device shows possibilities. Yes, but it cannot act. Only humans can. Your imagination, intuition, and choices are needed to select the paths that benefit the future. Let's start with something simple. Your morning routine." Lena blinked. "My morning routine?" "Yes," Kale said patiently. "Something as small as which cup you choose for your coffee, or which book you open first, can create patterns that ripple through time. Machines can simulate millions of outcomes, but they cannot feel. They cannot know the subtle joy, curiosity, or kindness that humans create." Lena stared at him. The idea was absurd, yet fascinating. She took the device carefully and watched the glowing lines shift and dance across its surface. Colors swirled, forming patterns she could not understand, yet felt drawn to. "All right," she said. "I'll try." For the next hour, Lena followed Kale's guidance, making small choices with care. She chose a blue mug over a red one, picked a storybook to read aloud instead of a news magazine, and even hummed a tune she hadn't remembered in years. The device glowed brighter, lines weaving together, as if approving her selections. Kale watched quietly, occasionally giving gentle suggestions. "See? Even these small choices matter. You have set patterns into motion that will affect outcomes in ways no one can predict, except humans like you." Lena felt a strange pride. Ordinary, yes, but capable. Humans were resilient, adaptive, clever. Maybe Kale was right, perhaps humans really were special. After breakfast, Kale suggested they move outside. Lena followed, curious but cautious. The city was alive, with people rushing, walking, talking, living. Cars floated silently above the streets, drones carried parcels overhead, and holograms advertised goods that Lena didn't even recognize. Yet, amidst the technological marvel, Kale pointed at ordinary things: an elderly man smiling at a child, a street musician playing a tune, friends laughing together. "These are the moments that matter," he said. "Not the technology itself, but how humans use it. The world is filled with tools and machines, yes, but humanity's creativity and kindness are what make it thrive." Lena nodded slowly. She had always loved people watching, but never realized it had such importance. She began to see that small acts, a smile, a choice to help, a moment of curiosity could influence others. And according to Kale, That influence could stretch far into the future. They wandered to a park, where Lena noticed a group of children building a small robot from discarded parts. Kale smiled. Even in play, humans learn and create. These children may one day invent things that help entire cities, planets, or even civilizations. Your encouragement, your attention, your curiosity, they all ripple forward. Lena felt a new sense of responsibility. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about awareness, care, and deliberate action. She realized that humans were more capable than she had thought. Ordinary choices, made thoughtfully, could shape extraordinary outcomes. Kale guided her through a series of exercises. Sometimes it was as simple as choosing which path to take in a park, which tree to sit under, or which conversation to start. Other times, it was more abstract, imagining solutions to minor problems, observing patterns in nature, or predicting the outcomes of small events. Lena was amazed at how much influence she seemed to have, even in seemingly trivial actions. At one point, Kale asked her to choose a book from a small library corner of the park. Each book had a different color, shape, and weight. Lena hesitated, then picked a green hardcover, feeling drawn to its texture. The device glowed, and Kale nodded approvingly. "See?" he said. "This simple choice sets a chain in motion. Perhaps that book will inspire someone tomorrow. Perhaps it will lead to ideas that help millions in the future. And all because a human chose thoughtfully." Lena laughed quietly. "I never thought a simple book could be so important." "That is the beauty of humans," Kale replied. "Even ordinary things can create extraordinary results when guided by care and thought. That is why your presence here matters. That is why humans, despite their flaws, are the most remarkable beings in the galaxy." As the day continued, Lena and Kyle experimented with more scenarios. They tested small decisions, observed interactions between people, and analyzed patterns with the device. Lena found herself learning faster than she ever expected. Humans were capable of adapting, creating, and learning in ways no machine could match. She began to understand Kale's insistence on the human touch. By late afternoon, Lena felt both exhausted and exhilarated. The day had been long, filled with new ideas, strange technology, and a sense of responsibility she had never imagined. And yet, she felt proud. She had done something important. Not grand gestures, not heroic battles, but simple, thoughtful actions that could ripple into the future. Kale looked at her with quiet satisfaction. "You are doing very well," he said. "Humans have always shaped their world, Lena. You are just continuing that tradition. And one day, these small actions may help ensure that humanity continues to thrive, even when faced with challenges we cannot yet imagine." Lena felt a warmth in her chest. It was strange, almost magical, how ordinary actions could carry such meaning. And somehow, she felt a growing connection to Kale not just as a guide, but as a partner in this strange adventure. "Kale," she asked softly, "do you really think humans are that special?" "I do," he said simply. "You see, humans have something no machine, no algorithm, no future technology can replace. Creativity, empathy, courage, and adaptability. These qualities define humanity. They make you capable of shaping the world in ways no one else can. And today, you have proven that you possess these qualities in abundance." Lena smiled, feeling a new sense of confidence. She wasn't just an ordinary woman anymore. She was a participant in shaping the future, a reminder of the human potential that Kale had come to witness. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in gold and purple, Kyle and Lena returned to her apartment. The device glowed softly, reflecting the changing light. Lena set it down on the table and leaned back, feeling a sense of wonder. "You've done well today," Kale said. "Rest tonight. Tomorrow, we will take the next steps. But remember this: even the smallest actions, guided by human thought and care, are powerful. Never underestimate what you can do. Lena nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and excitement. The journey was just beginning, but she felt ready. Humans were indeed extraordinary, and she was beginning to understand why Kale had come to her. And as she looked at him, she realized that perhaps, in this strange adventure, she had found more than purpose. She had found a connection, a partnership built on trust, respect, and the unique brilliance of human potential. For the first time in her life, Lina felt that she was not just living. She was participating in something far greater, a future that only humans, with their creativity and courage, could shape. And tomorrow? Tomorrow would bring new choices, new challenges, and new opportunities to prove just how special humanity could be. The morning air was crisp and gentle when Lena woke up. The sky was a soft pastel blue, and the city outside her window seemed almost peaceful. But she knew today would be different. Kyle had promised that the real work was about to begin. Yesterday had been about small choices and patterns. Today, she would see the true importance of human intuition. Kale was already in her apartment, waiting with the glowing device. He greeted her with a calm smile, as if he had expected her to arrive exactly on time. "Good morning," he said. "Are you ready for today?" Lena stretched and nodded, though a little nervously. "I think so. But yesterday felt strange. Like everything I did mattered more than I could imagine. How can one person, me, really influence the future?" Kale's expression was patient. Humans underestimate themselves. Machines can calculate probabilities, predict outcomes, and simulate scenarios, but they cannot feel, cannot hope, cannot create connections. That is why humans are essential. Your choices carry weight because you are alive, aware, and able to act with understanding. Lena took a deep breath. She remembered the park, the children with their robot, the laughter of strangers, and the simple decisions that had rippled forward. Perhaps he was right. Perhaps humans were capable of more than she had believed. "Okay," she said finally. "What do we do today?" Kale handed her the device, which glowed softly, almost as if it were alive. "Today, we will practice understanding people. You will make choices that affect others. Observe them, learn from them, and guide them in subtle ways." Lena nodded. "Yes, I think I am." They left her apartment and walked through the bustling streets. Even in the morning rush, Lena noticed things she had never paid attention to before. A man offering his seat to a tired commuter, a mother comforting a child, a street artist creating patterns with light. Each action seemed ordinary, but Kale pointed out the hidden significance of each moment. Humans have the power to influence others in ways no machine can, Kale said. A simple smile, a gentle word, or a helping hand can create chains of positive outcomes. That is what we are focusing on today. Quote, they arrived at a small community center where children and adults were working together on a project. Lena's task, Kyle explained, was to observe and interact. She was not to direct or command, only to participate and make thoughtful choices. At first, Lena felt unsure. She was an ordinary woman, not a teacher, not a leader. How could she contribute in a meaningful way? But as she watched, she began to see patterns. Some children struggled to collaborate, while others excelled when encouraged. She offered simple words of encouragement, helped sort materials, and even shared an idea that sparked laughter and creativity among the group. Kale watched quietly, his eyes soft with approval. See? Your presence, your choices, your kindness, all create opportunities for others to flourish. This is why humans are remarkable. You create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Lena began to feel a growing sense of confidence. She realized that her actions did matter. Small decisions, made with awareness and care, could influence the world in ways she had never imagined. After a few hours, Kale suggested they take a break. They sat on a bench outside, watching the city life unfold. Kale, Lena said quietly, do you ever feel lonely in your time? I mean, if humans are so important, and you are from the future, do you ever feel disconnected from the people you observe? Kale paused, considering her question. Sometimes, he admitted. I see humanity at its best, and it inspires me. But I also know that I cannot remain in the present for long. My role is to guide, to observe, to help humans make the right choices. And yet, it is moments like these, when I interact and connect with someone like you, that remind me why humans are so extraordinary. Lena smiled softly. She had never thought of the future in this way. The idea that one person could make such a difference, that humans were truly remarkable, was both comforting and humbling. Thank you, she said, for trusting me, for showing me all of this. Kale looked at her with a warm expression. No, thank you, for being willing to participate, to observe, and to act. Humans often underestimate their own potential. You are learning that today. The afternoon passed with more exercises. Lena practiced observing people, making choices that encouraged cooperation and creativity. She noticed the subtle effects of her words and actions, how a smile could lift someone's spirits, how encouragement could spark new ideas, how patience could resolve tension. Kale explained that these small, thoughtful interventions would ripple outward, creating patterns of behavior that would strengthen human communities and inspire future generations. Lena began to see herself as part of something much larger than her own life, a web of connections that could shape the course of history. As the sun began to set, Lena and Kale returned to her apartment. She was tired, but exhilarated. She had learned so much about the power of human choice, the value of empathy, and the importance of subtle influence. And she had begun to trust Kale not just as a guide, but as a partner in this extraordinary mission. Kale, she said as they entered the apartment, I think I understand now. Humans really are special. Even ordinary people can make a difference if they act with awareness and care. Kale nodded. Exactly. That is the essence of humanity. You are capable of shaping the world in ways that machines cannot. Your creativity, empathy, and courage are unique. And by using these qualities thoughtfully, you can help ensure a future where humans continue to thrive. Lena smiled, feeling a sense of pride and purpose she had never experienced before. She was ordinary, yes, but her choices mattered. Her actions, her thoughts, her care, they all had the power to influence the future. As they settled into the evening, Kale prepared the device for the next day's exercises. Lena watched, fascinated by the glowing patterns and shifting colors. She realized that her understanding of humans and of herself had grown in ways she could never have imagined. Tomorrow, Kale said softly, we will face more complex situations. You will need to think critically, act thoughtfully, and trust your instincts. But remember this, even in uncertainty, humans are remarkable. Your potential is extraordinary. Lena nodded, feeling a mixture of anticipation and determination. She had learned so much in just 2 days. She had begun to see the world through Kale's eyes, understanding the hidden connections and subtle influences that shaped human life. As she prepared for bed, she reflected on the lessons of the day. Humans were creative, adaptable, and capable of extraordinary acts of empathy and understanding. Even the smallest choices mattered. Even the simplest actions could ripple outward, shaping the lives of countless people. And in the quiet of her apartment, Lena realized something else: she had begun to trust Kale completely. He had not forced her, not threatened her, not demanded anything. He had simply shown her the possibilities, guided her gently, and believed in her potential. For the first time, Lena felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Kale, but to humanity itself. She understood that humans were capable of shaping their own future, of creating beauty, joy, and meaning in ways no machine could replicate. And as she drifted off to sleep, she knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, and new lessons. She was ready to embrace them, to act thoughtfully, and to continue discovering just how remarkable humans truly were. For Lena, the journey was no longer about disbelief or fear. It was about understanding, trust, and the extraordinary potential within herself and every human being. And with Kale by her side, she knew that together they could make a difference, one choice, one action, one thoughtful gesture at a time. The morning air was soft and warm, carrying the promise of a new day. Lena woke with a sense of purpose she had never felt before. The past few days had been extraordinary meeting Kale, learning the importance of human intuition, observing the ripple effects of small choices. But today felt like the real beginning. Today, she and Kale would take the next steps in shaping the future together. Kale was already waiting in her living room, device in hand, his calm smile as steady as ever. "Good morning, Lena," he said. "Are you ready for what comes next?" Lena nodded, sitting up on her bed. "Yes, I think I understand more now. About humans, about choices, and about what matters. But I also know this will be challenging." Kale's eyes softened. "It will be, yes. But that is part of being human. Challenges are opportunities to learn, to adapt, to grow. Today, we focus on collaboration not just between us, but with others. Humans influence each other in ways no one can predict. Your empathy, your insight, and your creativity are essential." They stepped outside, and the city seemed brighter than usual, as if reflecting Lena's growing confidence. The streets were alive with people, going about their daily lives. Yet to Lena, the city was no longer just a backdrop. Every person, every interaction, was part of a network of possibilities, threads that could be guided, nurtured, and amplified through thoughtful choices. Kale led her to a public plaza, where a small community festival was taking place. Stalls lined the square, children ran laughing, and music filled the air. Kale explained that today's exercise would involve multiple layers of interaction, observing people, identifying small opportunities to encourage positive actions, and influencing outcomes in subtle ways. Lena felt a nervous excitement. She had practiced small choices, simple interactions, but today required her to combine everything she had learned. She took a deep breath and followed Kale through the plaza. "See that child struggling to tie a balloon to the fence?" Kale asked. Lena noticed a young boy, his hands clumsy and frowning in concentration. "Offer help," Kale suggested. "Observe how your approach changes his response." Lena approached the boy gently, smiling. "Would you like me to help you with that balloon?" she asked softly. The boy looked up, surprised, and nodded eagerly. Lena guided his hands, showing him the right way to twist and tie. When the balloon finally stood upright, the boy's face lit up with joy. Lena felt a warm satisfaction, simple, yet meaningful. "See?" Kyle said. "Your guidance created confidence, joy, and a sense of accomplishment. That feeling can ripple outward, influencing others in ways you may never see." Throughout the day, Lena and Kale moved through the plaza, interacting with people in subtle, thoughtful ways. She encouraged a young girl who was shy to join a dance circle. She offered kind words to an elderly man struggling with his groceries. She shared ideas with a small group of teenagers working on a community project. Each interaction, small as it seemed, caused visible positive effects: laughter, cooperation, smiles, and newfound confidence. Kale watched quietly, occasionally offering gentle guidance. "You are doing well," he said. Humans are extraordinary in their ability to shape each other's experiences. Your empathy and awareness make the world a better place. As the day continued, Lena realized something remarkable. She had begun to see humans not as ordinary beings struggling through life, but as interconnected threads of potential. Each choice, each act of kindness, each thoughtful gesture created a pattern that could shape the future. And she was part of that pattern, actively influencing it, guiding it, and learning from it. By late afternoon, the festival had slowed, and Lena and Kale walked to a quiet park nearby. They sat on a bench, watching the golden light filter through the trees. Lena felt a deep sense of fulfillment. "Kale," she said softly, "I understand now. Humans really are special. Even small actions can matter more than we realize. I feel connected, not just to the people around me, but to something bigger, something lasting." Kyle nodded, his expression gentle. "Exactly. That is why your presence here matters. Humanity's strength lies not just in intelligence or technology, but in creativity, empathy, and adaptability. You are shaping patterns that will influence generations to come." Lena looked at him, a curious warmth in her chest. "And you? You're here because of humans like me?" Kale smiled. "Yes. And not just humans, but individuals, people willing to act with thought, care, and courage. That is why I am here. That is why I came to you. Because humans are extraordinary. And your actions, your choices, are powerful." The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange, pink, and purple. Lena felt a sense of awe. The world seemed larger, yet intimate. Ordinary life had taken on a new meaning. Every smile, every decision, every small act could shape the future. Kale turned to her, his voice softer now. "Lena, there is something else I need to tell you. You have seen how human choices can shape the future. You have learned how extraordinary humans are. And you have helped guide the present in ways no machine could. But there is a personal part of this journey as well." Lena tilted her head, curious. "Personal?" "Yes," Kale said, smiling gently. "When I said I was your soon-to-be husband, it was not only about time, but about connection. I have come to admire and respect your human qualities, your empathy, courage, creativity, and insight. Our partnership is not just for shaping the future. It is built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. In a sense, we are partners in every way that matters." Lena felt her cheeks warm. She had not expected this. A part of her had feared that Kale's arrival was purely about a mission. But now she realized that the connection they had developed through trust, shared experiences, and mutual growth was real. It was human. And it was extraordinary. I never expected this," she admitted softly. "But I feel the same. I trust you, Kale, and I want to continue this journey. Together." Kale's smile deepened. "Then we will. Together, we will guide the future. One choice, one action, one moment at a time. And we will do it as partners, human and future, learning from each other, shaping the world in ways no one else can." The sky turned deep violet, dotted with early stars. Lena and Kale sat in silence for a while, watching the world around them. The city hummed softly, unaware of the extraordinary partnership that had quietly formed. Ordinary life continued, yet every small act carried new meaning. Lena felt a profound sense of purpose, knowing that she was part of something greater, a ripple of human potential extending through time. "Kale," she said finally, "I understand now why you came. It wasn't just about fixing the future. It was about showing humans, what we are capable of." "Exactly," Kale said. Humans are remarkable. You have learned that in your actions, your choices, and your empathy. And now, you are ready to continue shaping the future, thoughtfully, courageously, and creatively. That is the essence of humanity. That is the beauty of being human. Lena smiled, feeling the truth of his words resonate deeply. She realized that the journey was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. She had seen the extraordinary potential in ordinary life. She had discovered the power of small actions, of empathy, of creativity, and of trust. And she had found a partner who believed in humanity and in her. As night settled over the city, Lena and Kale walked back to her apartment. The glowing device hummed softly, reflecting the light of the stars. Lena felt a sense of peace. The future was uncertain, yes. But she was no longer just an ordinary observer. She was a participant, a human, capable of shaping time, nurturing connections, and creating positive ripples that would extend far beyond her own life. And as she prepared for bed, Lena looked at Kale and said softly, "Tomorrow is another day. Another chance to make choices that matter." Kale nodded, his smile gentle. "Yes. And together, we will face it. Because humans are special. Humans are remarkable. And together, we are unstoppable." Lena felt a warmth in her chest, a mix of pride, hope, and anticipation. She knew that the journey would continue, that choices and actions would always matter, and that the human spirit was capable of extraordinary things. For Lena, Kale, and all of humanity, the future was not something to fear. It was something to shape, nurture, and embrace. One thoughtful action at a time, one kind gesture at a time, one extraordinary human choice at a time. And in that quiet, golden night, Lena understood the truth that Kale had tried to show her all along. Humans were special. Humans were extraordinary. And humans, especially those willing to act with empathy, courage, and creativity, could change the world. The journey was only beginning. But together, Lena and Kale would face it, shaping a future that reflected the very best of what humans could be.